What's going on, guys? Welcome to Human DLC. Have you ever done something and immediately wonder why am I like this? Let's say for example, you replayed an awkward conversation for 3 days straight, or maybe you convinced yourself that somebody noticed something embarrassing that you did, even though literally nobody did, and even if they did, they probably didn't give a Maybe you looked at somebody's life online and you suddenly felt like you were falling behind. Let's keep it real. Most of us have probably done this at some point, me included. Here's the thing about all that. Almost everyone experiences these things, but almost nobody likes to talk about them or open up about them. Because for some things, we really don't get an owner's manual from the get-go. You go to school, but nobody really explains why or how your mind works the way that it does until maybe later on. So most of us grow up assuming that something might just be wrong with us, especially when things don't make sense. But have you ever considered that the opposite might actually be true? That most of the things that we spent years worrying about are actually absolutely and completely normal. Welcome to Human DLC. Think of this as somewhat of an owner's manual that nobody gives you, where we reflect on human behavior daily to help just make things make a little more sense. Today we're going to talk about the things that everyone experiences, but almost nobody likes to explain. Like why I sometimes feel like people are always paying attention to what we do when they actually don't, or why it's so hard to feel motivated. And by the end of the video, I hope that you realize that you're honestly probably doing way better than you think. First up, why does it sometimes feel like everyone is watching you? Can you recall a time where you, maybe tripped in public, or maybe you dropped your phone, or walked into the wrong room with the F face, or you waved at someone who wasn't actually waving at you? That's awkward. I've been there too. Most of us have actually been there. And in that moment, it literally feels like the entire world saw it. It almost feels like there's a giant spotlight just following you around. The thing is, there actually isn't, and nobody actually cares. But there's actually a name for this strange phenomenon. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. Our brain naturally overestimates how much attention people are actually paying to us. Why is that though? If you really think about it, it's because to you, it feels like you're the center of your own experience. You're living your life through your eyes. So naturally and obviously, your brain assumes that everyone else is paying just as much attention to you as you are, right? But think about yesterday, for example. Can you remember what whomever you interacted with was wearing? What color were their shoes, what style, or whether their hairline was too far back? Probably not. Or how about this? How many actual birthdays can you actually remember without looking it up on social media? Exactly. And it's not because you don't care. It's because you were busy living your own life and everyone else is doing the exact same thing. They're thinking about their job, making money, their family, their bills, their weekend, their own awkward, embarrassing life moments. Not yours. True story. I remember this one time I was eating tuna in a crowded movie theater because I was just trying to get my protein intake in. Needless to say, the reactions were insane. Not good. Like death threat, bad. Embarrassed as I was though, after the movie started and the tuna had disappeared into my stomach, people's focus went back to just watching the film and enjoying it, aka just living their lives. Nobody really cared as much as I did. And after that, honestly, the realization was just liberating. So the next time you catch yourself thinking everybody definitely noticed that, ask yourself this: what was the last embarrassing thing that you saw a stranger do? If you can't remember, there's a good chance that nobody will remember yours either. Like I said prior, you were not under a giant spotlight. You were just standing in the one that your brain completely imagined. So for the next one, why is it that waiting for motivation usually just doesn't work? Let me ask you this: have you ever said, I'll start on Monday or New Year's? I just need to feel motivated to start. I used to think that motivation was something that just showed up first, like inspiration would knock on the door and then I'd want to suddenly work out. Unfortunately, motivation doesn't work like that. Imagine trying to push a car. The hardest part is actually getting the car moving, but once that baby's rolling, it actually becomes much easier to keep it moving. Your brain works in a very similar way. It doesn't always reward thinking about doing something. It rewards the progress, which means in simple terms that action often comes before the motivation, not after it. Think about the last time you didn't feel like working out. I'll be honest, nowadays, I almost never feel like working out, or cleaning, or practicing guitar. The hardest part isn't always doing the actual thing, it's always starting. But 10 minutes later, after you're actually already wrapped in it, your brain catches up. So next time you're waiting to feel motivated, don't tell yourself you're gonna finish the entire task. Just tell yourself you're gonna do it for literally 2 minutes. That's it. Set that bar real low. Because the initial goal should actually not be to finish. Your initial goal should actually just be to start, to get the car moving. And once it's rolling, I guarantee you that the rest will take care of itself. Okay, so we learned that your brain sometimes invents a spotlight and sometimes waits for motivation that never comes. But the next one is the one that I think everyone struggles with without even realizing it. Why is it that tiny problems feel so huge? Have you ever sent one awkward text or had one bad meeting or interaction with somebody or made a small mistake on a project or social media upload, whatever, and somehow it feels like your entire day was ruined after that because of it? It's funny because if someone else told you the exact same story, you'd probably just look at them and say, that's really not a big deal. So why does it feel so huge when it happens to us? That's actually because your brain doesn't measure problems. It actually measures attention. Think about your phone's camera for a second. When you zoom in, everything suddenly becomes huge. The object itself did not change. Your perspective did. Your mind works in the exact same way. The more attention you give something, the bigger it feels. That's why replaying the same mistake 20 times makes it feel 20 times heavier. The problem itself didn't grow, your focus did. I used to think that overthinking meant I cared way too much. Now I think it usually means I just accidentally zoomed in too far. The next time something feels overwhelming, ask yourself this: will it matter a month from now? If the answer is no, then try not to give it a month's worth of attention today. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can actually do is just to zoom back out. The next one is, why is it that we compare ourselves to everyone else? Let's keep it real. Have you ever opened Instagram or TikTok feeling completely fine, then a few minutes later you're literally just questioning your entire life? Sometimes, same. It's always so easy to think that social media created comparison. It actually didn't. We as humans have always compared ourselves to each other. That's actually part of how we learn. As kids, we watched other people. We copied them, and because of it, we actually improved. Comparison actually isn't the problem. It's not a problem at all. The problem is our brain evolved to compare itself to small groups of people. Maybe your family, friends, a village, if you're primitive like that. Not millions of people from all over the world, showing you the best moments of their life. Think about it. One swipe, vacation. Another swipe, someone got engaged. Me, I actually got engaged. Another swipe, someone bought a house. Another swipe, someone celebrating a huge promotion. Your brain processes all that like, what the heck is going on? Literally. Everyone is moving forward except for me. But here's what you forget. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And that's not a fair comparison. It's like you're judging your everyday life against a movie trailer. Of course, the movie trailer is gonna look way more exciting like 200% of the time. Here's something that helped me and that may help you next time you catch yourself comparing. Ask yourself one question: what could be a part of their story that I'm not seeing? Because every single person has struggles that they don't post. Nobody posts the boring Tuesday, or nobody uploads the self-doubt moments. I definitely don't. Nobody uploads the days when they wanted to quit. You're comparing your full story to someone else's best moments, and no wonder it feels unfair. The next one is, why change feels so scary? Here's something I've noticed over time. Sometimes we stay in situations that we don't even like, simply because they're familiar. It could be a job, a routine, a relationship, a habit, not because they're making us happy, but because they feel safe and predictable. Why is that? It's because your brain loves certainty. Because thousands of years ago, the unknown could generally be dangerous. Walking into unfamiliar territory can mean predators, no food, more dangerous environments, and just life threats. Fast forward to today, the unknown usually looks like starting a new job, moving to a new city, or trying something you've never done before. But your brain still reacts like you're walking into the wilderness, which explains why growth almost always is gonna feel uncomfortable. It's not because you're making the wrong decision, but because you're making a new one that you have not made before, and you just haven't had the chance to explore the map yet. So just remember, next time you're nervous about trying something new, just pause for a second and ask yourself this: is this actually dangerous, or is it just unfamiliar? Because those two are two completely different questions, and your brain doesn't always know the difference. So far we've learned something pretty incredible. Most of the struggles we blame on ourselves aren't character flaws. They're actually very common human features that we just weren't aware of, like the spotlight effect, or why comparison is normal and even beneficial at times, and why tiny problems suddenly feel enormous, and the fear of change. You're not broken or weird at all. You're using kind of a software that evolved to a completely different world, and honestly is just still upgrading. Once you learn to understand that, you stop fighting yourself and you're actually gonna start working with yourself. But there's one more thing I wanna leave you with, because I think it ties everything together. The next one is, maybe we've just been asking the wrong question. Let me ask you this: how many times have you caught yourself saying, why am I like this? Maybe you're procrastinating, maybe you compare yourself, maybe you're overthinking, maybe you're getting anxious over something that seems small. I think most of us have been asking the wrong questions. So instead of asking, why am I like this? Maybe we should start asking, what is my mind actually trying to do for me, or what is it trying to tell me? Because here's what's truly fascinating. Almost every behavior we talked about today, if you didn't realize, started off as an advantage. Comparison helped us learn from each other. Fear helped us survive. Wanting certainty kept us away from danger. Thinking ahead helped us prepare. Your mind isn't actually trying to make your life harder. Most of the time, it's literally trying to protect you and teach you something that you actually need to learn. Sometimes it just uses outdated instructions. Think about using a map from 20 years ago. The roads have changed, the buildings have changed, the destination actually hasn't, but the directions don't work anymore. And you as a human being are a lot like that. We're trying to solve modern problems with software that pretty much evolved in a completely different world. And that's why it feels so confusing sometimes. So you have to stop fighting yourself. Imagine owning the world's most advanced camera and spending years believing it was broken, simply because nobody ever showed you how to change the settings. You wouldn't just throw away the camera, would you? I mean, I hope not. And if you do, tell me where. Instead, I just think you'd learn how it works. So why don't we treat ourselves in the literal exact same way? So often we think, I need more discipline, I need more motivation, I need to stop feeling this way. And you know what? Maybe. But maybe you just need a better understanding of the equipment that you're already using. And that's what this Human DLC channel is all about. It's not about finding an excuse or a shortcut or a way to avoid responsibility. Think of this as, like I said prior, kind of like an owner's manual, because once you understand why something happens or how something works, you stop blaming yourself for it. And when you stop blaming yourself, you finally have the freedom to change it. And that's where actual growth begins. So this is my final message to you guys today. And this is my last takeaway. And the thing that I hope you take away the most from today's video. You are not your thoughts. You're not your worst day. You're not that embarrassing thing or moment that you still think about. You're not behind in life. And you aren't actually failing because something feels difficult. You go through things that everyone goes through because you're human. Just like every single person watching this video, the difference between people who stay stuck and people who grow usually isn't that one has a better brain. It could just be that one of them understands themselves a little better. And that's something that every one of us can actually learn, one feature at a time. Since no one starts with an actual manual for being human, that's what we're trying to build here. Together, one conversation, one question, one feature at a time. If today's video helped you understand yourself a little better, I hope so, I'd love for you to stick around and feel free to like, comment on the video, and subscribe if you want to continue learning about more interesting human features and human behavior and how to navigate them. Because we've only scratched the literal surface, because there are still hundreds and tons of human DLC features that we have to unlock. Until the next update, keep exploring, keep questioning, and just keep trying to understand yourself and others. I'll see you at the next Human DLC. Peace.